Wow.
Stats are like a bikini. they reveal what is exciting, but hide what is important.
Onana hasn't had the
True. How old were you in 2006?
world class.
Ederson is world class.
In my opinion, is possibly one of the most overrated keepers of all time. Let's do this. Yeah. Okay, so
I actually knew I was going to win this. The producer gave me a trick last time.
Enda. It's all that matters. Arguments does not matter.
Are you ready?
Do this. Yeah,
Mr. Outrageous. True or false? Manuel Neuer is a better goalkeeper than Gianluigi Buffon.
True. The reason as to why I'll say that is because, first of all, I think if you compare the accolades, both are great goalkeepers, both are World Cup winners. I think both have done well in Europe as well. Manuel Neuer has been winning Bundesliga titles left, right, and center. So in terms of accolades, he already has an edge. And even if you look at them as individual players, even though both were great shot stoppers, I feel like Manuel Neuer was more complete in the sense that even with the ball at his feet, he's just superior. I mean, this is a keeper who has been first choice for every team he's been to. Remember, even for Germany, right now he's 38. He's had to undergo 2 or 3 serious injuries and he's back. And I watched him the other day when Arsenal played against us and he was immense, you know. He still is keeping a brilliant goalkeeper like Marc-Andre ter Stegen on the bench at 38. And even though Buffon played until he was 45, I feel like as complete packages, I feel like Manuel Neuer is just the better goalkeeper. So I feel it's true. Neuer was a better keeper than Buffon.
Shake my hand. For once, at least.
A Germany fan. I mean, that is to be expected.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Neuer is the greatest keeper ever, not even compared to Buffon. Because I feel like the first time I ever watched, okay, not the first time, but the first time I saw him pull impressive string of saves was the semi-final of the Champions League when Moyes' first season at Man United. I think they got to the semi-final, but we eliminated them. And we really wanted to sign him, and I hoped that he would come. He turned out to be a great keeper for Bayern. He's the one who revolutionized the sweeper keeper. I know it has been there before, but he brought it back to the game, playing from the back. I remember there was a season under Pep Guardiola where he was rumored among the final games because they had already won the Bundesliga. The German press wanted him to play in midfield. That's just how great he is. Shot stopping, I mean, for me, he's the best shot stopper. Like, there are some shots that, especially those double saves, he's very good at that. Maybe Oblak comes second.
One-on-ones.
Yeah, even one-on-ones. But yeah, for me, he's the greatest keeper ever, period.
Exactly. I think we can all agree on that. Yeah, true or false? David De Gea was a better keeper than Edwin van der Sar. In my opinion, false. Look, David De Gea, in my opinion, is possibly one of the most overrated keepers of all time. Hear me out.
You started your outrageous takes again.
Right now, how long ago did he leave Man United? He left Man United 12, 13 months ago, and he still hasn't found a club. And I know there are factors like maybe his wage demands are too high, but look at it this way. Yes, he's a brilliant shot stopper, but De Gea was the type of keeper who could solve the problems he'd create himself in terms of like, he was wayward in possession. That means he'd give away a pass and then he'd be forced to compensate for it with a great save. Second, if you look, even at set-piece situations, most times the opposition will have to put 3 men on him because they know he's not very good at coming for crosses, like Vicario right now at Tottenham. So he wasn't very good at commanding his area, coming for crosses and stuff. And even as a communicator, I don't think his organizational skills were that good. As a shot stopper, he's possibly one of the best goalkeepers we've ever seen in the Premier League. But these other aspects... Shot stopping, yes, he's a brilliant shot stopper, but these other aspects about his game I don't think are as good as people make them out to be. And Van der Sar, I think, was more holistic in terms of how he was, and even with the accolades that he won. I mean, this is a keeper who even went to Fulham, came to Man United at 32-33, and was still able to get Man United back to the heights of challenging. Because remember, for like 3 or 4 years, you guys were in the rebuild, and he was part of the personnel that helped you get back to that phase, that final phase where Sir Alex dominated. So I don't think you can compare De Gea and Edwin. Edwin was a far superior goalkeeper.
Yeah, this day is turning out to be strange. I mean, we agree on 2 things, but for me, I don't think De Gea is badly off. For me, I think the thing that lacks in his locker is maybe accolades, because he played for Man United, which were on a period of decline. But in terms of shot stopping, De Gea was among the best. For Van der Sar, even his ball playing abilities are a bit questionable. Like, he was good, but I mean, during that time, football was not all about playing from the back. And for me, the reason why I think Van der Sar is definitely ahead of De Gea, but the reason why I think De Gea also deserves special recognition is how he came to Man United. I mean, during Sir Alex Ferguson's 26-year reign at Man United, he only missed 2 games. One was his daughter's wedding, I think, in South Africa. The other was to go and scout David De Gea at Atletico Madrid. That just goes out to show how great he was. And for me, he's the reason why Man United was at least challenging. I think 2018 we finished second. We won maybe a Europa League, an FA Cup, Carabao Cup. It was because of him.
Would you say David De Gea has been the best player at Man United for the last 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, player of the season accolades show it.
Yeah, you'd have to, but that at the same time epitomizes Man United's decline for me, because even Roy Keane himself was saying De Gea is not the keeper to take you guys to the next level. And I don't think it's coincidental that he's never even found a club ever since he left Man United. So was he as good as people thought he was? Because even for Spain in the end, he was displaced by Unai Simon. So I don't think he's a good shot stopper, but I don't think he's as good as people made him out to be, like those elite Peter Schmeichel and Edwin van der Sar levels as far as Man United keepers are concerned. That's for me.
He's the best keeper. He's the better keeper. He's better than any Arsenal keeper has had in your generation.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
Come on. Jens Lehmann was a guy who actually managed to displace Oliver Kahn, the great Oliver Kahn for Germany.
An aging Oliver Kahn.
No. But I mean, how many cups did he still manage for Germany at the time when Kahn was... And we consider Kahn to be among the greatest keepers of all time.
How old were you in 2006?
I was old enough to understand.
How old
football.
were you in 2006?
How old were you in 2006?
You can't answer a question with a question. In your generation, De Gea is better than all the Arsenal keepers.
No.
Yes.
In terms of since 2011, yes, you might say that, because I don't think we've had an outstanding goalkeeper ever since Jens Lehmann left. But Jens Lehmann played at a time when De Gea, I think, was he 16, 17, 18 and already playing for Atletico Madrid? I don't know. Maybe that should be fact checked. But I don't think De Gea was better than Jens Lehmann, in my opinion.
I said in your Jens Lehmann was not part of your generation, please. True or false? Andre Onana is a better keeper than David Raya. The fact that you're thinking about
I'll say true. I think Onana hasn't had the... True. Yeah, I actually think Onana is a better goalkeeper in terms of... if you look at... Okay, how do I put it? Okay, let me put it this way. Andre Onana has not had a good start to life at Man United. And that is understandable. Same case with De Gea in his first season at Man United. But look at Onana's track record. I mean... At Ajax, he was part of the team that helped them win 3 Eredivisie's, and I think they reached the semi-final of the Champions League in 2017.
But can you credit
Milan,
Neuer for winning Bundesliga, 11 Bundesligas
went to Inter
with
Milan, and I'm sure you know that Handanovic was a brilliant shot stopper, but he did manage to displace him, and I think he was integral to them reaching the Champions League final last year, and I think he ended up getting into the nominees for the Ballon d'Or award. I feel like in terms of his distribution, Raya is also brilliant, but I feel like Onana's distribution is something else. I think he just edges him out. As much as David Raya is slightly better coming for crosses, I don't think you can say that Onana is incompetent at that. And I think in terms of generally, if you look at Raya was someone who came through. I think 5 years ago he was playing championship football for Blackburn, and then moved to Brentford, and then at Brentford he did fairly well. But this is only Raya's first season at an elite club, whereas Onana is used to this kind of pressure. So in my opinion, for now, I'd say Onana is still better than Raya, but that is subject to change depending on how he's going to perform in the next 3 or 4 years. But as it stands, I think Onana still edges him.
You always bash me for being a stat merchant, but I think that's what you are. For me, how I'll settle this debate is using Steve Compella's famous analogy. Stats are like a bikini. They reveal what is exciting, but hide what is important. So, I mean, if you look at stats, Onana is better than Raya. But for me, what I've seen Onana do this season, there's no way he can.
But
I mean, Raya is part of the best defensive record in the league.
But you know, for me, clean sheets, winning the Golden Glove, I don't think for me the Golden Glove is purely down to
I mean, he's won the Golden Glove with 3 games to go.
Yeah, he's won it with 3 games to go, but I think I'd also attribute it to our brilliant defensive shape of the ball and the brilliance of people like Gabriel and Saliba. Yes,
okay.
Raya takes a lot of credit for that, but at the same time, I feel like Golden Glove awards are down to how you defend as a team, because at the end of the day, you also need protecting as a keeper. Whereas with you guys, Onana has been part of a defense that has been leaked. You guys haven't been giving him protection.
But if you look at...
And he's been actually one of your better players in recent games, in my opinion, in any way. Because he's the one who's prevented you guys from conceding 7 or 8.
Do you watch our games using this?
Yes, I do. Come on.
No.
Okay, Onana hasn't had
be our
a
best
brilliant
player
season, but I'm saying in the last couple of games, he's actually been one of your better keepers. I mean players, because he's been keeping... he's been preventing you guys from having much worse score lines, in my opinion.
I don't think so. I think Kobe Mainu has been the better player this season.
I'm not saying Mainu has been your best player, no doubt about it. But you can't say Onana in the last 3 or 4 months. He had an atrocious first 2 or 3 months to the season. But in the last 2-3 months, I think he's actually improved. I'm not saying that he's gone to another level, but I think he's improved considerably, a little bit, as the more he's played for Man United.
Okay, one word answer. Raya or Ramsdale?
Raya.
One word answer.
Raya.
Okay.
Yeah. It's my turn?
Yeah.
I hope this is not an outrageous one. Now, true or false? Alisson is the greatest goalkeeper in the history of the Premier League. Look, what I'll say is, Alisson is the best goalkeeper in the Premier League right now. Arguably, I think he's the only world-class goalkeeper in the Premier League right now.
After speaking highly of Onana...
In the Premier League, world-class goalkeeper in the Premier League right now. I didn't say Onana was world-class.
Ederson is world-class. He's not as good as Alisson, but Ederson is world class.
Okay, but all I'll say is, as much as Alisson has been brilliant, I don't think he's been better than people like Peter Schmeichel. I think people rave about Schmeichel in high esteem, in my opinion, and he must have been brilliant to have achieved what he managed to achieve. I feel like keepers like even David Seaman were possibly better than Alisson. I think goalkeepers... There were several goalkeepers that have a better track record than Alisson. Alisson is a brilliant keeper, like I said. Possibly if he goes on to play for Liverpool longer, he might become one of the greatest keepers we've ever seen in the Prem. But I don't think he's the greatest keeper in Premier League history, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do agree. He's not the greatest keeper. Probably among the top 3 greatest keeper, but for me, as a Man United fan, I'll hold my hands up and say I think Peter Cech was among the best goalkeepers in Premier League history. He kept, I think he has the longest clean sheet record, if I'm not wrong. He won a couple of titles with Chelsea. He was part of a main defense with Chelsea. I think they kept 25 clean sheets in a season. So yeah,
I think he has the record for most clean sheets in history.
Yeah. So for and especially his story, like I think he started with ice hockey, came to football.
Yeah.
I think in 2006 had the injury and came back and went on to become a greater keeper. For me, Alisson, in terms of his individual ability, but in terms of being the greatest, no.
And will you say, just before we move on, that Thibaut Courtois has a greater Premier League legacy in general, and even as a keeper, than Alisson?
No.
Will you argue? No. Will you say that?
For me, I say this week in, week out. Alisson is the best player in Liverpool. He's the most important player in Liverpool. Not even Salah, not Mane when he was at Liverpool, not Firmino. Alisson. Because Alisson kept them in games. And I think, for me, one thing about Alisson is I think he's the greatest one-on-one.
Actually.
Goalkeeper.
And before we move on, I feel like even if you look at the statistics from last year, Liverpool didn't have a brilliant season last year. But if you look at a metric called post-shot XG, I think he was still the highest. I think the second was, Raya or something, and that was by some margin. That goes to show you how brilliant he is. So yeah, I'll agree.
Mr. Start Merchant. During our days, bana, hatukuwa na XG, SG, shot stopping,
shots. To start goals assist. Anyway, hebu tuende.
True or false?
Yeah.
Thibaut Courtois is a better keeper than Ike Casillas. This one is already false.
I think it's
you
false.
don't even need
I think
to
it's
think
false.
about
It's false. It's false. To be fair, I'll
about,
actually agree because I mean, come on, Ike Casillas. Look at.
I think he started
his
playing
track
at
record
20 or
something.
Yeah.
He's won, I think, 4 Champions League titles. He was part of that brilliant Spain team that won 3 back-to-back international trophies. Remember, even in that World Cup final, Robben was actually through on goal, if you remember, and it was his brilliant one-on-one shot stopping that prevented Netherlands from getting the World Cup. I think it was the dying minutes before extra time. I feel like you have to give Ike Casillas his flowers. I mean, Courtois is a great keeper, and like I said in the previous point, I've just spoken highly of him. But I mean, Casillas is legendary. You don't need to explain it.
Yeah, for me, I look at a goalkeeper as an assistant coach or a coach in the field.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's the one who sees play and he organizes. And for me, Casillas was more of a leader. He was a winner. He had that winning mentality. Courtois is a good keeper, good shot stopper. I think he single-handedly won the Champions League for Real Madrid against Liverpool, was it 2022? But if you look at the longevity and what he brought to the team, Casillas is miles ahead of Courtois. Miles.
One word answers before we move on.
Okay.
Courtois. Shot stopping, Keylor Navas might be better because Keylor Navas
even at Forest last year,
he pulls out outrageous saves.
But in terms of complete package, coming for crosses and things like that, Courtois, it has to be Courtois. Yeah. True or false? A ball-playing goalkeeper is better than a shot stopper. Wow. A ball-playing keeper is better than a shot stopper. Not necessarily, not entirely. And I'm going to explain this by giving Victor Valdez as a prime example.
So true or false? Begin first.
It's false. It's false. I think a shot stopper is more important than a ball playing keeper. And in my opinion, and I think it's because if I'll give Victor Valdez as a prime example. Valdez was part of those brilliant teams under Pep that won all those trophies before Pep left Barcelona, and even before under Frank Rijkaard. But take Valdez out of Barcelona, take him to Man United where he went to, and then I think after Man United he went to Middlesbrough. Was he part of did his ball playing help keep Middlesbrough in the Premier League? No, it didn't. In fact, I think he was one of the worst shot stoppers that season, 2016-17. At Man United, he couldn't displace De Gea because in the end, De Gea won you points. Because you guys were in a decline, but De Gea was keeping you up. So if you look at it from that perspective, who actually helped Man United in the end? Was it Valdez or De Gea? That was De Gea. So I don't think, as much as it's ball playing keepers are important for for modern football because you are like the first line of attack. You bring numerical superiority and things like that. I think shot stopping is still your primary job as a goalkeeper in the end. So yeah.
Mark, I'll ask you again. How old are you?
What
for
does
me,
my age have to do with
I expected a Gen Z to choose.
No, I'm not Gen Z. I'm not Gen Z, man.
you're
I'm not Gen Z. I'm not Gen Z, man.
I don't expect a Gen Z to choose a shot
I'm not
stopper
Gen Z.
ahead of a ball playing keeper. Because for me, how I feel is football today has changed to compared to what we knew football before. And for me today, you need more of a shot stopper. You don't need 100% ball playing and zero shot stopping. You need a balance. But for me, I would lean more towards ball playing than shot stopper. A good example is Ban Leno. Leno is a good shot stopper, but
exactly.
ball playing is terrible. He can't play at the biggest club with that.
Exactly.
You have people like Ederson, I think one of the best ball playing keepers ever. But in terms of shot stopping, there sometimes is questionable.
But
so for me, ball playing any day.
But you see, just one last point before we move on. But you see, if you take Ederson out of Man City and take him to a team that is struggling like Sheffield United, will he keep Sheffield up? Just answer that before we move on. Will he keep Sheffield up?
I mean, those are...
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, your primary job as a goalkeeper is to make saves.
Yeah, but you see, like, how do I call it? Those are permutations that we can't really know unless he's there. If you look at the saves, the stats for saves in every season, you'll always find a relegated keeper topping the stats. Like Ramsdale, he was relegated, I think, twice, and he was topping those stats. Because you have a shitty defense. So you'll always face more shots.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean that you're a better keeper. Yeah, so for me, it's more of ball playing.
Let's agree to disagree.
The last one.
The last one.
True or false? If Oblak played for Real Madrid / Barcelona, he'd be considered the best in the world.
True. True with a capital T. True with a capital T. You know why? Because I actually think, yes, he's been part of a defensive setup that has forced him into facing more shots in his career. But if you actually really think about it, and if you dig deep, you'll actually realize Oblak is actually a decent distributor of the football. I actually didn't realize he's actually a decent distributor of a football. He's not as good as Ederson, Ter Stegen, Neuer, but he is decent. I think he is competent at that. I feel like if you took him to a team like Real Madrid especially, I mean, if Keylor Navas managed to win 3 Champions League titles and he helped that brilliant Zidane team win 3 titles out of 4, then Oblak can do a better job because Oblak is better. So if you took him to Real Madrid, he'd be considered a legend. I actually think he's a legend already, in my opinion.
I think
I think if you take him to Real Madrid, I think people will respect him more. I think people will actually respect him more.
I need to read that question again. Oblak, if Oblak played for Real Madrid, he'd be considered the best. No, not in the world. I mean, they're likes of Manuel Neuer, who's the best in the world.
If you took him to Real Madrid.
Yeah, and look at it this way. You know, for me, I like to look at players, how big clubs want them. There's a reason why Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal have never been strongly linked with Oblak. I mean,
Oblak.
sometimes you get Man United are
interested.
But there's a reason why. It's not that us two seated in a couch here in Kenya know more than the scouts in England or Spain.
Of course.
So for me, Oblak, I support Atletico Madrid. I've seen Oblak pulling outrageous saves.
Yeah, exactly.
But can he do it in a big club? Does he have the winning mentality? Can he do it without a low block? And for me, I have doubts about that. And even I don't think even if he went to Real Madrid or Barcelona, I don't think he'd be the greatest keeper in Spain. I think you'd still say Casillas is better than Oblak.
But I remember there was a point in 2020 before Chelsea signed Edward Mendy. You're trying to tell me, and Edward Mendy managed to win the best keeper.
Is
right
Chelsea
now
a big club?
Come on, Chelsea have won 2 Champions League titles, Bana.
To
in the last 20 years,
Chelsea is a big club.
No. In the last 20 years, in the last 20 years, Chelsea have actually done bits. You can't say Chelsea are a small club. Yes, right now they decline.
But historically, okay, they don't have history, but in recent history, they're a big club. But if you look at the last 2-3 years, no, Chelsea is not a big club.
In the last 2-3 years,
even in
yeah.
how they operate. I mean, if Chelsea wanted to sign someone now, you'd even have question marks about it because of the business they've done under Todd Boehly.
Exactly. Yeah, but I'm saying if you take out Todd Boehly from 2022 onwards, before then, Oblak was actually linked to Chelsea. And he was actually to go there, but they didn't get him, so they opted to go for Edouard Mendy. And Edouard Mendy went to Chelsea and won the best goalkeeper in Europe, and I think in the world. So you can't tell me that Oblak would have done a worse job if he went to a club.
I didn't say
or even Man United.
Now you're putting words into. I didn't say that. But full stop. Oblak cannot be the greatest keeper in the world. Even if he went to Man City, Pep's Man City.
Okay. I'll take your word for it since you're an Atleti fan. But personally, I think Oblak is a brilliant choice.
Yeah, my word is gospel. When it comes to Atleti, Manu, Bayern, all the other clubs that I support, Gor Mahia, Mamelodi, take it as gospel.
Finish it with a one-word answer. Who is the greatest goalkeeper of all time?
Manuel Neuer.
Pardon?
Who's the greatest goalkeeper of all time?
Oliver Kahn.
Did you even watch Oliver Kahn?
Oliver Kahn. I mean, I didn't watch Oliver Kahn, but I have done my research on him and I have watched a lot of videos on him. I mean, Oliver Kahn, the way people speak about him, that keeper was brilliant.
The reason why I don't like Oliver Kahn is there was a charity match that if kids scored, they were given, I think, €100, but Oliver Kahn saved all the penalties for the kids. I mean, the guy is heartless, man. He can't be the greatest.
That's the point.
That is how you do it.